Monday and Tuesday are free of major fundamental news events, so we'll be expecting clean price actions on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is going to be the busiest day of next week. You can see we have the CPI on the US dollar, and we also have the FOMC minutes later in the evening. So I will be expecting high volatility in the market on Wednesday. Then Thursday, we have the core PPI, and then on Friday we have a major news event on GBP USD. So next week overall, I'll be expecting high volatility in the market. Now let's come to technicals. So last week price was trading around here, and I specifically mentioned that I'm still expecting price to push up till this point, right? Last 2 weeks price was trading around here. I predicted this pullback and my next target to be this green line up above here, and now we see how price came into that zone and gave a massive rejection. However, price is bouncing off this mini support level here. If you look left, let me point it out for you so that you can see around here. We can see massive rejections around here, around here, around here, and now price came back there and we saw some kind of reaction around there. Now what do we expect going into next week, right? I'm going to be expecting two things. First of all, if we go to the weekly time frame, we can see that price closed with a bearish engulfing candle for last week. All right, so are we going to continue falling to the downside, or we are going to be bullish next week? Well, we are going to look at two possible scenarios next week. Now we're on the daily time frame. Now this was my original target. See how price came into that target, and now we've seen a massive rejection to the downside. Tuesday, Wednesday was a strong bearish move to the downside, and Thursday, due to the NFP, price was initially bullish before price reclaimed all those bullish move to the upside, and now price is trading below a support region on the daily time frame. I'm taking my time to analyze the US dollar, because whatever happens on the US dollar affects most of the USD pairs, right? So if US dollar is bullish, expect a strong US dollar, and if it's bearish, then expect a weak US dollar across board. Now, this is a daily zone that price has tested multiple times historically, right? And as we can see, price has broken below that zone around here, went back for a retest. So now, are we going to continue pushing lower, or we are going to continue pushing higher? Now, if going into next week, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Now, going into next week, I will be expecting an initial pullback into this zone. Before, if I see a bullish engulfing candle, then I may be bullish, all right? From inside this green zone, which is around 104.030, right? I may be bullish back into these levels here. But for me to be bearish, right? For me to be bearish to sell and hold, price has to break below this 103.975 area, break below it, come back for a retest. Then I want to see selling pressure from here, right? Then if that happens, then my next target is going to be this 103.082 region. So my first scenario will be for a pullback into this zone before we continue higher, or second scenario will be for price to break and close below this zone, go back for a retest before we sell off. So those are my buy and sell scenarios on the dollar index. Now next on my list is Euro USD. Now Euro USD just looks like the dollar index. Let's start from the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame closed with a solid bullish engulfing candle, bouncing off of these obvious zones. Where's my brush tool? Bouncing away from this obvious zone that price has reacted to in the past. All right, even if I extend it further left, you can see this zone. So price is reacting to that zone at the moment. No wonder we saw this solid bullish engulfing candle close for last week. Now let's go to the daily time frame and see what we look like on the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, I've had this daily support or resistance for quite some time. If you've been watching my videos, you must have noticed this gray zone around, and price keeps trading around that green zone. You can see this is a significant rejection here historically. This is also a significant rejection here historically, and also here to the upside. So that makes that gray zone a zone of interest, right? Even around here, you see how price respected it. Then when price broke back above it, you see how price bounced off significantly from there, and now we are back below it, and it looks like price is struggling to either break above or reject that zone. So this is how you know a high value zone. So right now we have this strong resistance around here. Now going into next week, if I see a daily candle, let's say a daily bearish engulfing candle close around here, then I'll be bearish. I'll be bearish, and my next target will be my original target, which is 1.07106. But if a daily candle closes above this 1.08517 region, then all I'll be doing on the lower time frame is to wait for a pullback to that region before I buy to the upside. Now, if I buy, my next target will be the 1.09907 region. All right, so those are my buys and sell scenarios on the daily time frame. But let's take things down to a much lower time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, we kind of look like we are creating something like an inverse head and shoulders pattern, but that's too early. Let's focus on the real thing. Let's focus on price action. Now, this is that gray zone from the daily time frame. But before I continue, last week, congratulations to those that took advantage of the initial bearish push to the downside, right? Price was trading around here last week, which was the 29th of March, and I came on last week and said price was going to fall actually into this 1.07106, where price came shy of that zone before taking off. So now that we look bullish, we've seen price action on the higher time frame, which is the weekly time frame. Now we only need to see price break and close above this 1.08517 area. So if price can break and close above that zone, then I'll be expecting a further push to the upside. Remember my target from the daily time frame. Let's go back to the daily time frame. So my target will be this zone here on the daily time frame. Let me make it visible on the lower time frame. Okay, yep, it is. So let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. So if our 4-hour candlestick can close above this gray zone, come back for a retest, then I'll be expecting price to take off until we come into this 1.09906 area. Of course, we have this trend line to contend with, which you may want to keep an eye on, because if price breaks above it, we may come to this trend line, then see a bounce off before we take off. All right, so you want to keep an eye on that, or something like this. Let's say we'll break above it, then we'll break above the trend line, come back for a retest before we take off. So either way, that is what I'll be expecting to see. But the sell side scenario, because we don't want to overlook the sell side since we're trading below this gray zone, right? So I would like to see a daily candlestick close, like a bearish engulfing candlestick close, maybe around this price here. Then if I can see that, then I can now start selling. I'll go to the lower time frame, look for bearish opportunities to sell to the downside. All right, so those are my bullish and bearish scenario on the euro. All right, let's look at the GBP USD. GBP USD has been quite choppy for quite some time, since last year, right? If I put this vertical line around here and put another vertical line around where price is currently, you can see, if you look at the blue label below, Thursday the 30th of November, price has been ranging since last year, and now this is the 5th of April. Price has been bouncing off, bouncing down, bouncing off, bouncing down, right? So sorry to those trading GBP USD, it must be quite confusing, except if you're trading on a much lower time frame. Now I'm going to come to the daily time frame. Let's come to the daily time frame. So yeah, price is still quite choppy. Yeah, we're coming from the daily time frame. Let's look at what we look like on the weekly. On the weekly, price is also quite choppy. Man, this is a nasty range around here. Imagine on this weekly time frame, see how price is just moving sideways. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Let's look at cleaner price action. So on the 4-hour time frame, price is also still ranging below the zone, though it is creating something that looks like a head and shoulders pattern, and we have this trend line right up above here. So what I'd like to see, the bullish scenario I'd like to see going into next week on this one, is for price to break out of this green zone on this 4-hour time frame and out of this trend line right here. So I'd like to see price close above it, come back to those areas, whether the trend line or this green zone, it doesn't matter, for a retest. Of course, when this pullback is happening, I'll go to a much lower time frame. If I was trading GBP USD, which I don't, I only trade Euro USD, but if I was trading GBP USD, this is the play I would like to see. Once price is pulling back, I'll go to a much lower time frame, like the 15 minutes time frame, to look for entry opportunities from here. And then my next target is going to be this zone here, which is 1.27646 area. So that's for my bullish zone. I won't do anything within this zone. I won't do anything within these two zones. I would like to see a breakout right of this range, creating a new higher high, a pullback before we trade higher. And for a bearish scenario, I'd like to see price break below here, right, which is below this 1.25238 area. So I'd like to see price break below there, go back for a pullback before we sell off to my next target, which is 1.23305 area. So that will be my next target. So these are my buys and sell scenarios. Within these two zones, I'll be very conservative by doing nothing. Actually, my strategy allow me trade between this zone, right? Because I trade on a much lower time frame, which is the 15 minutes time frame. But I can't be telling you that now because there are some rules that have to be met for me to be able to execute. All right. So I can't spot the rules right now. All right, but if you want to buy or sell and hold, these are the scenarios. All right, but within these zones, of course, you can still trade depending on your strategy, which my strategy allows me to trade. All right, so those are my bullish and bearish scenarios. Now, the last on my list for today is going to be oil. All right, last week on oil, I actually said I will be expecting price to pull back into this region. If you missed last week's video, go watch it. In fact, this was where I predicted this bullish move on US oil. Let's go watch that video. So I'd like to see a pullback, something like this, a pullback into here. Then I'm going to be trading to this green zone here, which is 89.06 regions. Welcome back, guys. You can see price pulled back even though it didn't come right into that zone, but price was still respecting this zone here. You see, this is why you need to learn how to do this for yourself, right? What I mean, I'm talking about this zone. This is why you need to take our mentorship program so that you learn how to do this yourself, so that you can always realign yourself with market reality at every particular point in time. But anyways, price came shy of that pink zone, but price was still bullish. So going into next week, I'm still expecting price to make its way to 89.06 region on the US oil. All right, let me take Euro JPY. Euro JPY, also on the 4-hour time frame, my next target is 165.336. all right, you can see how price is making a nice wave of bullish move here. Higher high, obviously higher than all of these highs, came here for a higher low. So I'll be expecting a new higher high to happen around 165.336 area. Guys, thanks for staying to the end of this video. I wish you a successful trading week. And if you want to learn how to do these things, how to execute, how to analyze, and all of these good stuff, do yourself a favor, grab any of our mentorship program and take your trading to the next level. And if you're not interested in our mentorship program, it's completely fine too. Make sure you watch our videos, like our videos, also share and leave a comment where necessary. Once again, I wish you a successful trading week and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.